Hey everybody, welcome back. It's
What's
another
up, man?
episode of SVT. Sam is not here today. He's off gallivanting in Las Vegas. So good for him. He was out golfing. Uh, and apparently the driver wasn't quite working as well as it should have for him. But that's all right. You got me. I'm Vince. We got Tyler. How's it going, bud?
Good. This is the Vinny and the double T's.
That's right. And like you just said, Tim, how's it going?
Am I am I the double T's here?
Yeah. We
Timmy
might hurt
Tim.
we might hurt Vince's back, but damn, we look beautiful.
Oh yeah.
All right. All right, we the world itself has been kind of crazy the last, uh 4 years, but specifically this last weekend, we don't need to really get into all that extra stuff, but we're here to talk sports. We got some basketball getting ready for the Olympics. Let's start right there, I believe. Yeah, so before we get to the Olympic stuff, though, Commissioner Adam Silver said last Tuesday, right after we recorded, basically, that the NBA will turn to a consideration of expansion after the league's media rights deal is finalized. They then finalized that deal a couple days later,
Mm-hmm.
and news broke earlier today, actually, that TNT is choosing to match Amazon's offer, which means we may not be quite done with Inside the NBA. That being said, though, TNT having the right to match doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to keep it. It means that they've matched Amazon's offer, and then the NBA will have to decide at that point. And if the NBA doesn't choose TNT, then at that point, then it's probably going to hit some legal battles and stuff like that. This is the last time this kind of thing's going to happen, though, because all of the contracts going forward don't have this clause anymore in it about the right to match. So ABC, ESPN, NBC, and Amazon, if Amazon keeps it, or TNT if they end up stealing it from Amazon, they're not going to have this opportunity 11 years from now when they're renegotiating it. So, what do you think about this?
Well, let's start down the ledger here. I wanted to ask you about this expansion,
Okay.
consideration of expansion.
Yeah.
Where in maybe we don't have to say cities, but more or less states
Oh,
or
I
countries.
already got the cities.
Oh,
I already
okay.
got the cities.
What are
It's
the
going to be
cities?
Seattle. They're going to
Okay,
write that wrong,
good.
and then probably Las Vegas,
Okay, so I'm
and then
assuming.
you would move Memphis over to the east.
Okay, so
I think
then the
Memphis is the
West would get.
furthest. In the Western Conference, I believe Memphis is the team that is furthest east. So
Okay.
it's just easy enough, and they're already Central Time Zone, and there's already like Milwaukee and Chicago. They're already in the East in the NBA. So as far as like time zone travel, staying in a time zone, that's not a problem. Texas is also Central
I
Time
wonder
Zone,
I
but
wonder
yeah,
to balance out East and West if they take a Texas team and make one into the East.
no, because
'Cause
there's
it's
teams.
be two West
There's
teams, right?
well, no, well, it'll be two West teams. So if you add two West teams, that would be 17 and 15. You then only need to move one team over
Oh,
to
not
make
two.
it
Okay.
16 and 16. That's part of the math that people are talking about online that they keep getting wrong. You only need to move one team from west to east to overcorrect for getting Seattle and Las Vegas in.
Okay. Well, I unfortunately I as much as Vegas is the hot commodity for everything sports related,
Mhm.
a little fortunate. I kind of thought that maybe Canada might get a second team up there, and we might see a
Yeah, I'm I'm
Vancouver.
I'm I'm sure that it's on the to-do list eventually. You want to hear a fun fact?
Hmm.
Your boy, just for shits and giggles, has been thinking about the possibility ever since the A's news broke last year. Basically, I've been thinking about what if somebody just came along and decided to like willy nilly just expand the league out to 40 teams. You know, like where
Okay.
would you put all those expansion cities to make up for that? And so Las Vegas and Seattle for the NBA happened to be the first one, but I also threw in cities like Kansas City and St. Louis, and Vancouver would get their team back. San Diego's a big enough market, that only has one team in it. I think they could get one there. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Louisville, cities like that, because with Kentucky, you get the University of Kentucky does really well all the time. You can get a professional team in there as well. I mean, it's just a bunch of computations I had in my mind. I also threw Montreal out there as a possibility. This is something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and not just baseball, but basketball and football and hockey even too. So like I've the possibility of expansion. I've been thinking about it long and hard for a long time about not about every league. And I honestly believe Las Vegas and Seattle are going to be first for basketball. And then after that, who knows, but I do believe that they will get another team in Canada. You want to probably get one in the West, so that way travel is a little bit even. So
Yeah.
everybody has to go internationally.
Or I mean, you could put one in the middle. I mean, you could go to Winnipeg's a little far, but you could go to like
Not that big of a city though. I mean,
true.
graphically they're kind of in the middle, but as far as population, I think you'd rather put one in Montreal or Vancouver. Those are your top 3 cities. Toronto, which already has the Raptors, obviously.
What about Ottawa?
Ottawa's the capital. I think they're like 4th. Actually, let me go to this spreadsheet. I happen to have this data handy. Yeah. So Ottawa has almost 1.5 million in it.
Okay.
So they're okay. They're, as far as like Canadian cities, you're looking at Toronto is number 1, obviously by a mile. They got like 6.2 million in there. Then you got Montreal at like 4.2 million, and then Vancouver's your 3rd. They got 2.6 million.
Do you happen to have Calgary on there?
Calgary is 1.4 million. They're actually a little bit less than Ottawa. I believe Ottawa is 4th in terms of medium market size.
Okay.
So it's not just city population, it's like the neighboring cities as well around it. You're not going to put one in Quebec City or Winnipeg. Winnipeg doesn't even have 1 million people in their area. They're like of all the the 4 major markets, the 4 major sports, they're the city with the lowest population of anybody, US and Canada, with at least 1 team in the market. So
okay.
So I don't see Winnipeg or Quebec getting anything, and Quebec would just basically be, an expansion to bring back the Nordiques, so to speak. They're both under 1 million. They're not getting anything. So yeah.
I guess my fear is, I mean, I don't want to dwell on this too much longer, but I guess my fear is that if you have Vancouver, does it start feeling a little crowded going up on the West Coast? Do you need to balance it
Portland,
out?
Seattle, Vancouver, soccer does it. They don't seem to have a problem. You got the Whitecaps, you got the Sounders, and you got the Timbers all in that, Cascadia region. They have their own little mini rivalry between the 3 of them. I think it helps.
Yeah. Well, I think it helps.
And the league had Vancouver and Seattle before.
Yeah, I mean,
And
that's
Portland.
what your Grizzlies were and your OKC Thunder were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd like to have those teams back there. I think arguably, my personal opinion, I really loved Vancouver's uniforms. I like the color schemes of those back in the day.
Yeah, they had teal in them.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Yeah,
it's a fair point.
Teal in the 90s were, synonymous.
Yeah. Well, to your second point of the ledger here, I'm super excited, man. I think that Emmy awarded show that they host, I'm glad, man. It's people say what you want about it, that they're obviously homers and but they have good bands here, and I think
it's entertaining. I'm not going there for sports content. I'm going there for entertainment.
Exactly.
And the sports is tertiary to that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, from the scenes of Kenny and Shaq running to the big board and Kenny pushing Shaq into the Christmas tree, like there's very moments that I'm like, wow, this show does some pretty funny stuff. I think I love that Chuck leans into being that bad guy to certain fan bases whenever they go into town, so I'm happy to see that show's going to stay around for a little bit longer, and I hope that TNT gets the job done.
Yeah. That being said, I honestly feel like the league is going to take the Amazon deal anyway. I think that's where it's headed, and then we're going to go to court and hash it out. I think the right to match, I don't necessarily, like I said, I don't necessarily know that means that it's the right to keep it when you try to match it. I And yeah, I feel like the league is kind of going for a divorce from Warner Brothers Discovery, especially since David Zaslav has taken control with that merger,
Yeah.
and it's just been chaotic over there. They've been canceling completely finished movies because they can take a tax write off. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's doing that. I mean, Netflix does all that.
Well,
that
no,
all the time, too.
absolutely. But I mean, like big name stuff, and this is tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of problems happening at Warner Brothers Discovery right now, and which is the parent company of TNT. So yeah, I mean, they still got hockey anyway. They'll be fine as far as like sports content. They still have stuff going on there, but I feel like this is still going to be the end of TNT and NBA. So nearly 40 years, man, or probably over 40 years, I think, huh? Close to it.
Yeah, I'd say close to it.
It's
yeah.
like it was like early 80s, I think they started. Anyway. We good, Tim? You disappeared there.
Good.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so let's switch gears then to the NBA Cup. The Emirates NBA group draw happened. The Warriors are going to be in West 3. And so in West 3, they have Denver, Dallas, New Orleans, and Memphis in there with them. So that's going to be kind of tough, like at the top end. Denver and Dallas, the last two Western Conference champions. And obviously Denver was the NBA champion.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, do me a favor. Can you throw that graphic up there of the the NBA one, the only NBA one? There we go.
The group draw.
Perfect. I'm on a delay here, so I'm trying to keep up at the same time here. So,
right.
Okay. God, that Clippers new logo is not great.
I don't love that at all. It looks like a target. It it looks like like a sniper rifle target, man. It's dumb. I don't like it.
I don't like that at all. I do love the pool. Do I love the pool? Oh gosh, because it's the top 2 teams out of each pool. If I remember that correctly,
I think so.
Maybe I don't like this pool. I mean, obviously,
no. I think it's just the top 1 and then like one other team.
Yeah, Dallas and Denver.
Even that far. Yeah,
Dallas and Denver is a tough match here. I think New Orleans is probably on the decline. They're getting closer to a rebuild than they are being more competitive. Obviously, Memphis that's going to be a question mark because what condition is that team going to be in? I mean, half the team was hurt all last season. So, oh gosh, I don't know, man. I think Denver's starting to realize, their owner was really advocating on this whole structure system to not keep, the Warriors, we'll call it what it is, keep the Warriors as a powerhouse team. And now they're starting to get burned by their own, self-righteousness of wanting to break up what was the Warriors. So maybe Denver's on the decline here because they can't keep their players anymore. They can't afford them. So, I like my bracket. I think the toughest bracket, they're actually all pretty even. I'd say the toughest bracket is probably
pretty well distributed. Yeah. I don't know.
Lakers is going to be always fun. By the way, Anthony Davis looks amazing in the Olympics. I know we'll get to it, but Lakers are going to look great. OKC is going to look great. San Antonio is probably going to look a lot better this year. I would say maybe the West B is probably your hardest bracket out of all of them.
Yeah, the Jazz are dog shit. The Lakers and Spurs are probably going to be mid, but capable of beating anybody, but probably not beating,
Yeah,
and then obviously you got the top end, the top tier, the OKC and Phoenix there. That's going to be real tough in the West. As far as the East goes, so East A is Knicks, Orlando Magic, 76ers. That's pretty stacked top end.
That's a pretty
Brooklyn and Charlotte on the bottom.
East A is tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah, East A,
don't count out Magic. Don't count out the 76ers. The Knicks retooled. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough bracket.
Yeah. East C looks. I mean, Boston has to worry about Cleveland a little bit, but then after that, it's the Hawks, it's the Wizards, it's the Bulls. So the league did it again for the Celtics.
I know.
Easy
right?
path. The Mickey Mouse path to the title. No. Okay. I'm kidding. The Celtics went out and earned it. The other teams didn't get it. Like they didn't earn the right to play them to stop them. Anyway,
No, the
moving
Mickey
on.
Mouse the Mickey Mouse path was the Lakers in the bubble.
In 2020. Yeah, absolutely. Got him. All right. Okay, so those games are going to begin November 12th, and those games are going to be part of the schedule actually
Yep.
too. So
I think they were last year too.
they were. Yep.
Yep.
The only added games to the schedule are going to be like playoff games in the Emirates Cup tournament, and that'll be in December. So don't have to worry about that. Let's see, and then let's talk USA Basketball Showcase. Let's flip that image, Tim. Yeah, so Team USA men, they beat Serbia 105-79. That was in Saudi Arabia, and then in London they squeak out the win against South Sudan 101-100. LeBron made the last second bucket with like 6 seconds left. So you watched that game specifically, Ty.
Oh my gosh. You want to talk about South Sudan putting themselves on the map. I think they have 2 NBA players that are probably a starting player. Like they have NBA players, clearly, right? They went toe to toe. But as far as like starting NBA players, I think they have 2 of them. So shout out to South Sudan. Obviously, Steve Kerr took the blame on this. He didn't have the guys prepared. Maybe their focus wasn't there. That's always the big question mark with our team, is that is their focus there because they think that they're the biggest and the baddest dog in the land, and rightfully so they are at times. But South Sudan and even the Australian game, where they had to come back and damn near win that one too. So that was a great game. LeBron James looks amazing, and I'm glad I get to say it on this side and not the side where I'm going against him and I get to curse his name.
Right.
Today, man, like I got to watch the game against Germany, which USA won that one 92-88. That was a barn burner, like to the end. And then like 3 minutes left in the game, LeBron James said, "Hold my beer, I got this." And he took over, like absolutely took over the game, and was flying, man. I mean, at 39 years old, you would have thought he was, 27, 28 years old. Like he was absolutely everywhere, defensively, offensively, crashing the board, making threes, passing out to outlets. I mean, he was amazing today. Single-handedly the reason why both of these games have been won for Team USA is all on the shoulders of LeBron James. And it's not on here, but he will also be the flag bearer for USA going into the
opening ceremonies.
So
cool.
That's a good honor. Congratulations to him. I think he's
that guy.
Yeah, I want to say he's the 3rd basketball player, but I think he's the first male basketball player for Team USA to do it. I think that's the case, because Rossi did it for the women's. I think there was another guy. Yeah. And I want to say LeBron is probably the first, but I knew he's a 3rd in basketball player to do it. I don't think he's the first for Team USA to do it. But anyways, near there or that. So, everything kicks off here shortly here, coming around the corner for the Olympics. This was their last game for the showcase to get geared up for it, and I am genuinely excited. I watched a video that made me crack up. So, Vince, my pronouns for the Olympics are going to be USA.
Oh Lord. Oh fuck. All right. On the women's side, team WNBA beat Team USA 117-109 in the WNBA All-Star game. I think so Caitlin Clark set a rookie record for assists in the All-Star game with 10. The actual record is 11 by Sue Bird, and Caitlin had 9 assists at halftime. So she didn't really get the opportunity to, I guess, get the final assist to get past her. But it was like in the 3rd quarter. I take that back. Not at halftime. It was in the 3rd quarter. She was talking about that. She was like on the bench and getting interviewed live. Angel Reese also ended up with a double-double in that game. So the rookies that didn't make the Olympic roster definitely had an impact.
They're the first rookie tandem to score that many points as a rookie in an All-Star game, and B, have that many assists as a rookie in an All-Star game. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, just absolutely wild performance from them. I watched the bits of that game off and on over the weekend too. So just I'm excited for Team USA women's basketball as well. Like,
Yeah.
they really should. This will provide a nice little wake up call as well, because the players that were on the bubble and didn't quite get the call were on this WNBA All Star team. So it's
Yep.
it's a nice little alert saying, hey, get your focus in. Like, they're supposed to go and win gold. This will be like the 8th time in a row that they're trying to do it. If they do get the job done, it'll be 8 in a row, and that's what's expected, especially on the women's side specifically. Just the other countries just aren't quite ready yet. I mean, some of them
Yeah.
are getting closer, but they're just still not there yet, and they need to handle business. And it's nice to just get your bell rung a little bit before, so you don't have to have it happen on the big stage.
Yeah, so women are going to be playing Germany tomorrow. That's another showcase game leading up to the Olympics here. I think that's their last showcase game.
I would imagine so. They start the 25th,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yep.
they basketball and soccer both start like right before the Olympics actually have their opening ceremony. Like, games are already happening the
Mhm.
day before. So that's
Yes.
just fun facts.
I still think the powerhouses for women. It's France is still a powerhouse for the women's side. I want to say Spain is another one that's up and coming. But one I'm very curious about. I don't know if they made it, but there's this girl that I keep seeing all these videos about, and she plays for China, and she's like 7'1", and she's 16. So I'm very
Dang.
curious. I don't know if China made it. Obviously, one player doesn't make the makeup of a Olympic team or Olympic squad, but definitely going to keep my eye out on this kid and see if she comes to the stateside here. She seemed like she was an absolute powerhouse playing it in some of the games I watched, but again, giants among little people.
Yeah. All right. So I think that does it for basketball. Let's switch gears. There's nothing really of note that needs to be mentioned for hockey, so we're going to go ahead straight to soccer, I believe. And let's check in on the Rex Coast Tour. So
Yeah.
both the men and the women came over this time, and Wrexham men get the draw 1-1 versus Bournemouth, and that's actually huge. That's a pretty.
It really is. Yeah.
Like that's Bournemouth. They're what, mid-tier Premiership team, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's I mean, obviously, I don't believe they played all their starters, but that's a great result. You're a 3rd-tier team, and you get the draw, and you were actually leading at the half as well, 1-0, and then obviously surrender that last goal. But yeah, it's good good showing after the women's side, though. They end up losing 6-1 to Tigres, which is Mexico femenil team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit rougher for them, obviously, but obviously these games don't matter that much. It's just team bonding, unity, and a little bit of a measuring stick. But that being said, Tigres, they're in the middle of their season, right? And this is off season, this is preseason, this is getting your like getting ready for it as well. So for the Wrexham women's side, at least. So yeah, this is a nice little measuring stick for the men, and the women, this is still off season, but like they have some room to grow, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the thing too that people don't, I think, maybe not appreciating is that, granted, some of the men players, they're newer to the team, but for the most part, the team was intact. So they've already done a U.S. Coast Tour.
Yeah.
For the women, this is probably their first time out of their own country, let alone
Yeah.
going to America.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's just a lot, a sensory overload. So for them to maybe not be as laser focused as we've become accustomed for them, I'm not going to fault them at all. I mean, the first time to America, and you get to go hang out in arguably one of the most prettiest places in Santa Barbara in California. So
oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I by all means soak it all in. If you do lose a game, who cares? At least you have a wonderful view of the ocean.
So upcoming on the Rex Coast Tour this week, the men's side, they play Chelsea at Santa Clara on Wednesday.
Mhm.
And then they go up to Vancouver on Saturday and play the Whitecaps up there. So that's going to be fun. Check in on that, and yeah. So this coming Wednesday, if you've got the time and you got a little bit extra pocket change, I think go check it out. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, snag yourself some Wrexham gear. They have portables being set up outside of stadiums as well too. That I would imagine Santa Clara is probably going to have merch set up there. But
Oh yeah,
I did see in Santa Barbara that they had portables set up outside with some cool Rex merch that said U.S. tour, and you can also get jerseys and whatnot too, which are kind of hard to get if you're on the stateside trying to buy it on their website because it's always sold out. So if you get a chance, go by and check it out.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's move on to the Earthquakes and their just horrible.
Wait, can I just guess
embarrassment.
without even looking at the doc here? Can I
Yeah.
just guess?
Yeah.
How many games have they played since we've last recorded?
2.
I'm gonna guess they lost both of them. Hold on.
Correct.
Let me see if I can give myself a bonus point. I'm gonna say, oh gosh, the opponent scored a total between the two games 7 points.
No, actually, they lose 1-0 to Houston, and then they go up to Minnesota, and then they lose 2-0 there.
Okay,
So
better showing than I thought.
dead last. Their upcoming game. Let's see. So MLS is taking a break right now as well. We're in the summer window pause or whatever. So they're playing the Leagues Cup with Liga MX.
Okay.
They're going to be playing against Chivas on Saturday. The next
Okay.
MLS fixture is going to be late August against Salt Lake. So we're going to kind of see how this Leagues Cup goes. I don't think it's going to go very well.
What would ever give you that thought?
John fucking Fisher. Yeah. So the ultras they're on board with the fuck John Fisher movement. They're making themselves loud and known, and they've welcome to the resistance.
Yeah.
People, absolutely. Some of them have been on board for a while. Others are getting on board in the last couple months or so. But yeah, this is in a league that is already hiding its product behind like a paywall on Apple.
Which
It's
is wild.
it's just
Absolutely
wild
wild.
to me. So there's zero interest now at this point, because like who's honestly seeking out the Earthquakes? Like if you're a casual person, the only time you're gonna watch an Earthquakes game is if your team is playing them.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Like so they're already hurting themselves by being behind the paywall, and then you don't even muster the facade of trying.
Yeah. Yeah, of
At
course.
this point, it's you can fire your coach as many times as you want. It's not going to make a difference.
Which I do want to say that I saw. I don't think it was at the. I think I thought it was at the Earthquakes game, but it was definitely at the A's game. But somebody was walking around with a sign that said, "All right, now one tapped out. Now we just need John Fisher to tap out." I was like, "Damn, man." Fans are brutal, man. I love their signs. I love the creativity that people come up with all the time. But yeah, John Fisher sucks, man.
Yeah,
Just god awful.
In my head, when I just hear John Fisher sucks, what I'm hearing is the John Cena music, and then people, how people used to go, John Cena sucks, John Cena sucks. Like I'm saying John Fisher instead. Yeah, so that's what's going on in my head whenever I hear John Fisher sucks. I'm hearing the John Cena intro music, but people shouting John Fisher sucks.
Yeah.
So there we go. I think maybe if we can find a way to like request that happening, like get that song playing, that could be that could be a fun thing to chant. They might be forced to cut off the song, But anyway, okay, moving on. Let's move on to Bay FC. They started the Summer Cup. And so the first match of that, they lose 3-1 at the San Diego Wave.
Your first game of the Summer Cup is a team called the Wave. Come on.
Yeah. Playing the San Diego Wave. Yeah, so they take the L 3-1. They don't have any of the the top two strikers, Rachel Kudananji and Asia Oshawala, they're on Olympic duty, so they don't have them.
Yeah.
Which means there was the ability to score was greatly diminished, and they just the only goal came from Maddie Moreau, I believe, and that was in the second half. It was it was fairly even in terms of play, but it's just they couldn't find the finishing touch, So upcoming games in the Summer Cup is this coming Friday against Angel City at 7:30 on Friday, and then next Friday against Club America, also 7:30 next Friday, and both of those games are going to be at home in San Jose. The problem with the Summer Cup is there's 5 different groups and only 4 slots in the playoffs. So you have to win your group and then not be one of the worst teams, and not be the worst team of the group winners to move on. Taking the L here right off the bat doesn't look promising. So I think at this point, the coach is going to start looking at just trying to find different combinations, trying to see what will work, what won't work, trying different styles. They had Dana Castellanos playing in a false 9 throughout this match, just kind of trying that out, seeing what that looks like with her doing that. It just, there was a lot of good control going back and forth, but it just, like I said, the finish wasn't quite there. Dana did actually put one in, but she was offsides in the first half. So that's unfortunate. That happens. So yeah, like I said, they're on a break as well for the Olympics. The next NWSL match is also at Utah the day before the Earthquakes go there, oddly enough, against Utah Royals. So that's fun. As for the US women's team, their first game against Zambia will be on Thursday. That's going to be a 12 p.m. kickoff for us here in California. So yeah, just general soccer news and notes. Perfect, Tim. They will also be playing Germany and Australia in their group, and then if and when they win that group, that's when they'll move on to the knockout stage. There's 12 teams total in the Olympics. 8 of them are going to move on to the knockout stage. So top 2 move on, and then the 2 best third place teams.
Mm-hmm.
USA should be able to do that. I think if they can't do that, even with a brand new coach, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong at that point. So they're going to handle business. They're going to be in the knockout stage, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
I know we weren't having this on the list here, but I heard that there's 2 names that have popped up as possible head coaches for the U.S. men's national team.
Okay, yeah. Let's just. This is perfect for news and notes. We can leave that image up. That's great.
Yes.
And Tyler just got kicked off. So while Tyler comes back on, yeah, you're back.
That was weird.
Something weird's happening. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh man. So I heard that there was possible of oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? Well, I know his name, but I don't know how to say it properly. Tierney.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that was
Thierry
the latest.
Henry.
Thierry Henry. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's who you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So there was another name, but that one more specifically is the more intriguing to me, and why I look up for this other name here. I'm just curious as, do you think that would be a good fit? I mean, it's.
So his coaching experience is MLS, so I don't
Right.
love that. His playing experience is top tier in France, which I do love.
Right.
So it's kind of tough. That'll be like, that's kind of walking the line between, like I said, I don't want an MLS coach. But if you have somebody who has experience playing in Europe especially at the highest levels for a long time, I can see why US soccer would make that higher. I don't 100% love it, but honestly, I'm not going to 100% love whoever they end up hiring. If I'm being honest, whoever they hire is going to have a shortfall because all the great coaches are either retiring and don't want to come, or they're already hired elsewhere and they're not going to come.
So the other one that's getting flirted around, that's getting a lot of like potential, and it seems like he's already addressed that he wants the job, was Patrick Vieira, who was a manager in French leagues. I'm trying to think of what he managed most recently.
All right.
Looks like he just okay. So he managed a lot of international France teams from 97 to 09, the under team. More recently, he was doing he was with a team called RC Strasbourg, which is a club out of France as well too. So it seems like he's got some international. He did do New York City FC when he did do Manchester City at their a younger club. Previously, before his coaching job, he was at Crystal Palace. Kind of know how that story's kind of gone for them. They've kind of seen their way out of Premier to kind of middle of the road of Championship. So, but still has European coaching in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm super excited about it, but
Yeah, again, like I said, whoever they end up hiring is not going to be a perfect hire.
yeah,
Like, let's just throw that out there right now. Let's dispel any possibility that you're going to 100% love whoever they end up hiring, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so there's going to be a flaw with whoever they end up getting. Of those two names, I think I prefer Thierry Henry, but I don't. Like I said, the coaching. He was at Montreal, so like,
Yeah.
Montreal didn't really do much. So yeah, as far as if he can bring a tactic and make the fit work, and if I want to see an actual run. I don't like out of Team USA in the when they're hosting this tournament in 2 years. I want to see them not just make the knockout stage, but I want them making a legit run, like at least win a game in the knockout round. Maybe
Yeah.
win 2 games and get to the semifinals. If you're on home soil and you've got what a lot of people are calling the most talent that US has ever had, top to bottom, for the men, I expect to see some actual proper top-notch performance. But I'm kidding myself by actually expecting that. I'd love to see that, but I know that that's not what's going to actually end up happening. So good luck to whoever ends up getting that job, man. Because I feel like we're going to be heading for disappointment no matter what, unless some miracle happens. I wonder if Ted Lasso's hanging out somewhere.
At least I get to be disappointed, not at 6 a.m. drinking a beer.
I get to be disappointed prime time. Yeah. Yeah. I can, get a little tickle in my throat. I got the black lung and I have to go leave work a little early, and I can head to head to Clara and catch a game. That'll be fun.
Your next news here is great, man. I didn't even hear about this. I love this.
I saw this. So this is the last note for soccer. CBS Sports actually landed the rights for the English Football League for the next 4 seasons. They're going to air 250 games in total each year across the Championship, League One, and League Two. So you're going to see a lot of Wrexham a lot easier.
Man, shout out to Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, because this is primarily their reasoning as to why CBS landed this. The popularity that's going to ensue. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! I mean, League Two, sure. Maybe there's some fans that are.
I know that. Like, for example, let's just look at the Championship. Leeds is still in the Championship, and they're the Niners basically own them. It's the same ownership group, so there's a lot of Niners Leeds fans crossover as well. So you get you're going to get a chance to see most of those games.
That's awesome, man.
So that's great.
Love
that is huge. That's terrific news. And there's no reason not to broadcast everything. We have the technology at this point. I don't love the Paramount Plus app, to be honest. Like I've watching if you're trying to watch 2 soccer games in a row, that could be a problem. But so PBS needs to work on that a little bit. But I'm just excited for the opportunity to watch more of these games outside of the Premiership.
Yeah, I have a personal gripe against European media outlets. It seems like you think MLB commissioners are behind the 8 ball. Man, I mean, they had a gold mine. They literally had a gold mine, and I'm talking about their viewers, or at least the program they use. It's like I Watch or something like that, or I View or some crap like that. But they literally had a gold mine, and basically just told Ryan Reynolds, no, we're not going to work with you guys. Like, there's not going to be any kind of you want to watch it, you got to subscribe, and you can only watch it like on their actual webpage. It wasn't like an app or anything like that. So yeah, good job, CBS. I definitely am excited for that, because now I can record them and I can watch them, and the quality is gonna be better because CBS is gonna bring their own cameras out there, so it's gonna be a lot better too.
Absolutely. All right, so I think that's it for soccer. Let's move on to baseball, and just a couple of quick notes. Fuck John Fisher. As always. They did drop the 2025 schedule. Like for the A's, it just says, like, whenever a team is playing the A's, it just says ATH for athletics on the schedule. So I mean,
does every day game say TBD?
They didn't put times out at all. Somebody did a breakdown, and I believe there's going to be at least 13 day games, possibly as many as 17 day games.
Wow.
How
do they manage
of an
that?
81 game schedule? I don't know, man. I don't know. The schedule, like they had to put in a lot of work to for that schedule to work around
Can you imagine, like,
SaberCats?
How does this
the
not
Rivercats, excuse me.
How does this not piss off the Giants? Like, I don't understand. You basically have lost. I mean, I know you don't own the AAA team, but like now your talent. Like, if I'm gonna send somebody for a rehab assignment, I'm not gonna send them to the Rivercats. He may be playing a game at like 2:00 in the afternoon in the blazing heat to sacrifice what the A's want at 7:00 game. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
there's no overlaps like that. There's no double headers.
Oh, they managed to do that in the schedule too?
I believe so. They're able to not do double headers with Rivercats and the A's. So at least there's that. But like they're gonna have to replace that field. We talked about it before. There's allegedly this turf that is only gonna like heat up 10 degrees hotter than the environment instead of 30, like other fake turf grass does. So it's still, 120 degrees on the turf instead of 140. Ooh, big freaking deal. Anyway, so I did go to the game. It was the last game that I'm going to. I only went because Grandma wanted to go, and it was my first game going as not a fan. I was there. I didn't care. And the A's actually put it on them. I even got a beer because I figured, anytime I go to a game and I have a beer, the team loses, so like whatever, they're gonna lose anyway. They suck. I'll get a beer, and wouldn't you know it, I think maybe it's because I don't care anymore.
Well,
I think
didn't the boycott?
I think that's the secret. Having a beer and then caring is what makes them lose.
Didn't you have a beer and they won at the boycott game too?
No, I didn't have a beer then. I didn't have a beer that day. We'll
have to ask Pops. Pops, pull the tape up. Challenge flag.
No, I did not have a beer. I had soda. Yeah. So yeah, the experience was, it was fine. Grandma had a good time. That's what's important. We brought the cardboard cutout of Grandpa with us one more time, so
good.
So that was nice and a lovely moment. And my brother came down from SAC with his family, so we all got to go with my aunt as well, and we all had fun and did the thing. And yeah, so that's and then there was the drone show. So that was the reason she wanted to go to this game on this last Friday, was for the drone show. Quiet fireworks, as my brother had to tell his daughter. So we got to see Captain America and Thor and Black Widow and Iron Man and Captain Marvel, by drones, like up in the sky. It was very, very nice, very well done. And then you didn't have to get held up on the BART ramp, because of fireworks. You didn't have to wait for the all clear, because there's no fire there.
Or the fact that there's only 2,000 people that show up for these games now.
This one actually probably had about 15 or so. Like there was actually a pretty good turnout, good-ish. Because it's a drone show, I think, and so families take the kids. And, there's probably, I would say, probably close to 15,000. I didn't look it up what the actual attendance was, but there you go. So as far as the schedule goes, just back to that real quick, the Dodgers versus the Cubs in Tokyo to begin the 2025 season. That'll be March 18 and 19. So that's actually like in terms of teams that actually draw well at their own home. Dodgers and Cubs, like those are teams that sell out or close to it every game.
Yeah.
So that's actually a big deal. Normally when they would send the A's out there, the fans in Japan would go just, to see Major League Baseball, right? Or if the A's had a specific Japanese player, or when we would go and play Seattle on those games, we would get Felix Hernandez, but then they would also get to see Ichiro. So it was a huge draw for them, and the A's were just kind of the home team. So that way they only played 79 games at home instead of 81.
We also did that like almost every year because John Fisher got money for his team starting their season out there.
Yeah, there was like a special bonus or whatever. So it was just, another way to be cheap and try to squeeze every last fucking penny out of it. So yeah, that was there's your baseball notes. Let's flip it over to Olympics real quick. Just a quick reminder. Olympics start this Friday. The opening ceremony is 7:30 p.m. Paris time. For those of you who are on the West Coast of America, like all of us, that'll be 10:30 a.m. in California. So Paris is just 9 hours ahead of California. So that's the math that you can do. Just back up the clock 9 hours for whatever the local Paris time is for any event happening.
To the exception of surfing, and like if you like surfing, because that's gonna be in Tahiti.
Oh yeah,
but that's the only one.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah. Oh my God. I just thought again about how for the LA Olympics, they're doing softball out in fucking Oklahoma. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. There's plenty of softball fields in Southern California. Hell, I could even
do it
see
at
them
college.
I could see them justifying coming up to NorCal too. Like
you could do it at Stanford.
Yeah. Stanford, Cal, like USC, any of the former Pac-12 schools, you could host the softball tournament there, man.
Going off a little bit of tangent here. I purchased the NCAA football game.
Okay.
Big fan of that game. Obviously, it's been 10 years since the last one came out, so obviously excited for it. But just for shits and giggles, because I picked Cal, no one in the ACC or the ACCC, the Atlantic Coast to Coast situation here.
Yeah.
They still have the Pac-12 in there, which I don't know why it's called Pac-12. There's two teams.
The Pac-2.
Yeah. And it's still in there. So I was like, man. So at the end of the season, I was like, just curious. Like, what are their standings at between these two teams? I know it's a simulated game, but God, how crazy, man. Like,
yeah.
They don't have a bowl because there's no point. It's two teams.
Yeah.
So what an absurd ridiculousness that is the Pac-12. Well, was the Pac-12.
Yeah. This is I'm just gonna get angry again if we keep talking about that. But yeah, so I guess at this point, that pretty much covers the show. Anything else for the good of the order, man?
No, man, I think that's all good.
You got a quick one in today. This was, nice. We were able to get the reps in. Oh, my dad did confirm.
I saw.
Yep. See, I have many things. A liar is not one of them.
I lost my timeout. It's cool. It's fine. It's whatever. Yeah, man. No, I'm excited for everyone that came out to watch the show or is watching the show afterwards. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Please make sure you like and subscribe. Also, I'm just gonna send us off here. Sam's in the sunset of Vegas, probably getting just absolutely snockered right now. So, there you go, bud. I hope you enjoy your foot long Fat Tuesday drink.
The yardstick. Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, you are listening to the SVT podcast. Subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell to get alerts when we go live. Follow us on Instagram and Threads at SVT Sports Pod and slide into our DMs. We would love to interact with all you beautiful people. Have a wonderful night.
The beautiful people.
There you go, man.